What's up guys, Jeremiah here from Battling in My Backyard. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how I built this splash pad. Alright, when we bought this house, it had this fountain feature that was sitting here right outside the back door. This type of river rock was covering the entire space. We've been robbing from this location for a while now for the filter builds for the main pond. But we're going to go ahead and clean up the rest of it, using it also continually into the filter. And then we're going to refurb this whole fountain feature. This fountain never did work. Apparently the previous owner couldn't get it to work ever. Every time they tried to plug it in, it would pop a circuit. So we realized that we just need to start over from scratch. So that's what we're going to do. So let me walk you through the process that we were using to put these rocks from here into the filter. First we put them into a tub to get them clean. So we'll put the rocks into the tub. We'll scrub the rocks in the tub. And then we take the clean rocks and put them into a bucket for transfer to the filter. That's all I'm doing, is just dumping these right into the filter. So let's go ahead and check it out sped up. Now that we got all of those rocks cleaned off, I noticed that the bubbler stone actually goes down into the water. It doesn't sit on top of the grade like I thought it would. What I also noticed was that the rebar that's creating this grade is partially under the bubbler rock. So I have to remove the rebar so I can get this grid off so that I can start working on the pool below. Good, now I'm able to remove this grid and work down here. Alright, so we're going to get this pumped out and see what we got going on in here. It looks like there's a lot of debris, or maybe the water's just really a lot more shallow than I realized it is. Next thing I gotta do is get in here and get all the muck out, because there is a lot of it. To try to get some more of this stuff out, I'm going to go ahead and fill it with water, and then I'm going to use my net to scoop the chunkier stuff out of the water. I'll go ahead and give this whole thing a spray down, then I'll use my shop vac to get it all cleaned up. Next I'm going to remove the pump that was there previously. Now I would like to show you what's going on in here. It looks as if they used a piece of the liner to protect the other liner when they place this bubbler in here with concrete. Additionally, this liner is not an EPD liner, it is a different style liner, which I have seen and used these for food grade stuff in the past. This one seems to be holding water just fine. Obviously you could see that it had water in it from all these years, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it still. On the grade itself, I'm going to go ahead and cut an opening for my pump access. What I need to do right here is create a retaining wall, a really short retaining wall, to just get barely above the rebar. So I've got to create a straight line from this current concrete over to here, and then maybe a little L that cuts back into the concrete on this side. I'm going to go ahead and do that with bricks because I can create a straight line with bricks pretty easily, and it doesn't have to go tall, so I don't need anything crazy. After my retaining wall's in, I'm going to go ahead and put down some 3/4 minus rock. I'm going to pack that down really well. I'll get it wet and pack it down again. Next I'll come through with the 1/4 minus and lay that over the top of my 3/4 minus, and then I'll pack that down really well. Before I get too far here, I want to make sure that I wash down this bubbler with a pressure washer. It's been sitting for a long time, so it's pretty dirty. Now that I've got the 1/4 minus packed in here on this side, I'm going to go ahead and throw in a pond liner that's going to allow the water to flow back when it's a splash pad into the bay here where the water is supposed to go. So I had a piece of scrap EPDM liner from another project. This was just left over, so it'll work perfect right here because there's a corner piece and I need this to run to one corner. So I have lots of space back here, but I don't have very much space over on this side for the water to fall back in. So I want to make sure that I capture a lot more of the water and I don't lose it so fast. Okay, I forgot to turn the camera back on when I was working. Basically, I folded the EPDM liner over towards the rebar when I laid down my concrete sand, and then I got my concrete sand nice and level and then pulled the EPDM liner back over the top of that, and then I started to lay my pavers over the EPDM liner. I'm not done with the sand yet, so you'll see that process as I continue. I got to a point where I need to make some cuts on some of these pavers, so what I did was get a 7-inch masonry blade. This blade is a wet or dry blade, so I don't have to have the water on it to make my cuts, and I just put that on my circular saw. Now I have to start cutting around the bubbler, which is an odd shape. I have a special tool that I'm using to recreate the shape so that I can use it as a trace on my paver. Here I am laying down more concrete sand on the other side, which I hadn't finished yet. What I'm doing here is a little funky, but I'm creating basically a cover for the access to my pump. So how I'm doing that is I'm just cutting notches and an angle so that I can get my fingers in there and pick this thing up, even when there's two pavers on either side of it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run my cord from my pump right down between the pavers and into my opening for my pump. all the extra cord will go down inside of there as well. That way I don't have any crazy amount of cord sitting over here. I did also make a video on how to put this GFCI on the outside of the house right here next to this job. If you're interested, check that out in the corner now. There it is. That's what it looks like when it's all done. I just have a little bit of plumbing left to do here and then we'll be good. So the pump itself came with a barb that holds a 3/4 tube, but I do have a ball valve on here with a 1-inch PVC pipe. So I have to go from my 3/4 tube on my pump to a adapter that I built with a 3/4 barb and a 1-inch PVC line. So it gives it a nice bubble or sound when it's just running by itself. But what makes it fun and interactive for kids is that as you put different rocks into the hole up here, you'll get different splashing effects. And if you move the rock around in there, it'll splash all over the place. Alright guys, hopefully you liked this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Lots of cool videos always coming on this channel. See you in the next video. What do you think, Flora? Is this a cool thing? Do you like this?